Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 25 of the Dungeon Lore series. In this series, I hope to expand upon things you might not know about Final Fantasy XIV dungeons, as well as discuss their individual stories and lore. This episode's dungeon is Snowcloak. Within the icy hills of Coerthas, there lies many a settlement across the region. A long time of war between Ishgard and the Dravanian Horde left many a building in ruin, such as the stone vigil now reclaimed by the Warrior of Light. Before the Calamity, however, the region we now know as the Central Highlands was directly connected to the now obstructed Western Highlands. With the devastation caused by the Calamity, many places across Eorzea were transformed dramatically, and Coerthas was among them. A huge glacier began to form, thanks to the change in the flow of the freezing water present in the area. Over time, this water began to form icy walls, eventually becoming an enormous, vast network of icy tunnels, which from the outside essentially blocked all major passage to the west. While assisting House Fortomp after defeating Ramuh, Lord of Levin, the Warrior of Light catches a glimpse of Iceheart, a supposed leader of a band of heretics, standing atop the now blocked passage towards the west. Explaining this situation to the Ishgardian allies, they agree to inform Haurchefant of their presence. After this, the Warrior of Light returns to Minfilia in order to help the Scions find and recruit more people to join the fight against the Ascians, when Alphinaud informs us that the Holy See finally accepted a request for a meeting to discuss the potential alliance between the two forces. We meet with Lord Emmerich, who informs us that although the Garleans may indeed be a problem, Ishgard still will not agree to rejoining the Eorzean alliance. The meeting is then interrupted by a knight, who tells us that Iceheart has attacked a supply caravan belonging to House Fortomp. We investigate the scene of the ambush, and the investigating knight informs us that the attack was fast and definitely premeditated. And after speaking to a survivor of the attack, he tells us that while lying on the floor after being struck, the heretics spoke of their achievements, but more importantly of Shiva, a woman from ages past said to have lain with the mighty dragons in the early days of the Dragonsong War. Alphinaud asks what the ambush shipment contains, receiving an unfortunate but not altogether unsurprising answer. The shipment contained many crystals, which leads Alphinaud to deduce that not only do the heretics praise Shiva, they seem intent on summoning her. Sworn to combat the primals, the Scions express their concern and extend their support to Haurchefant in preventing the summoning of such a creature. We convene with Lord Driamont and Emmerich to discuss the plans going forward to handle the heretics, and after the Scions lend their support to Ishgard, Driamont informs us of a group of pilgrims making their way west, disappearing in the same vicinity as Snowcloak once again. Emmerich agrees to join forces in the extraordinary circumstance, and move to find a way to discover the heretics' hideout. Driamont reminds us of the imposter Inquisitor Guillaume, who remained at Whiteburn Front under the cover of authority, and turned out to be a heretic. Since this disastrous occasion, the Temple Knights conducted a thorough investigation of every person present at the fort, and deduced that only one man could have ties to the heretics at present. Driamont sends the Warrior of Light to observe the suspect, and potentially listen in if they were to meet with another heretic. Following them out of Whitebrim, they walk the path eastward, turning into Danithan Pass as we continue to tail them. We see them call out here, prompting a waiting heretic to appear and speak with them. They discuss the goings-on of Whitebrim, although partially inaudible for the Warrior of Light due to the lowered voices. Notably, they mention tunnels around the area of Boulder Downs, where they appear to discuss a form of ambush. After this, we return to Driamont, where with the new information, a plan is put into motion to investigate the tunnels and engage the heretics' forces. We are sent to Boulder Downs to rendezvous with the Durandare Knights, only to find them all dead, and as we approach the bodies, we ourselves are assailed by a group of heretics. After defeating them, we return to Lord Driamont with parchment from one of the heretics. We discover that the information was a list of timetables for the Guard's Watch at Whitebrim Front, and due to this the heretics could plan and move under the Eye of Ishgard, when the Guard is at its weakest. Driamont commits to more knights for the fight against the heretics, even withdrawing troops from the Stone Vigil. We meet with Emmerich outside the ice walls at Snowcloak, and inform him of the potential attack from the heretics. Speaking with Alphinaud, he is convinced of the entrance to a hidden tunnel somewhere in the vicinity, as many heretics threw themselves at the knights to defend the area. At this point, heretics appear and attack Alphino, and Ida knocks them away. A crystal brave appears and informs us of a discovery of a tunnel that was ferociously defended by the heretics, and Alphino calls upon the troops to invade the tunnel. However, due to its small size, only a few can reliably make their way into the place. We speak with the Temple Knight, who shows us the entrance to the small tunnel, and reminds us as we prepare to enter that any resistance found is upon us to handle. As we enter the tunnel, we come across many ice formations, glowing with a soft blue hue, and the enemies we encounter are simply the beasts that live in the icy conditions. We can see several lanterns along the path, indicating some human activity along the way. Reaching the area known as Corruption, there are many crates and structures here, hinting more strongly at the presence of the heretics. We obtain a tiny key and open the nearby gate, which leads to the area known as Silence. A large ice golem awaits us here, known as Wandeel, and during the fight, the golem attempts to gradually freeze party members. It uses Cold Wave to try and freeze specific areas of the arena, and Tundra causes the outer edge of the arena to freeze. It also uses an ability known as Snowdrift, which, if caught unawares, freezes stationary party members in place for a time. Upon defeat, the party proceeds outside the tunnel onto a shelf of ice and snow, where the blizzards rage and the enemies fall from the ice above. The party must take care here when passing through the storm, as several areas will cause them to take great damage from the cold. We proceed up the slope until we reach the area known as Conviction, where the great Yeti of Snowcloak awaits. Now, this is the part of the run where I realised that since the recent patch, the dungeon bosses have been changed somewhat. The Yeti, while similar to its old incarnation, previously summoned Spriggans, which had to be frozen themselves in order to prevent the boss from casting its Northerly's ability. Currently, it summons the snowballs themselves, the larger of which must be avoided when the party is knocked into the air. The other extra ability is its Spin, which first knocks away any close to the Yeti, followed by a large ice blast around the edge of the arena. Once the Yeti falls, we make our way back to another part of the tunnel, and passing some glacier sprites, we reach a small clearing with many hidden alcoves, from which burst a handful of monsters, including a large gator and a cyclops. After this, the ice blocking the path bursts, and the enemies within the place take a turn. We find this last corridor full of Evises, allies to the dragons, as well as a few Harriers belonging to the heretics. Each of these men attempt to drink the self-same dragon's blood used by those within the Stone Vigil, transforming into another Evis if left unchecked. Once we defeat the final pair of Evises and the last Harrier, we reach an area known as Oblivion, where in the background we can see what is unmistakably a crystal formation used to summon a primal, as the final foe descends upon us. Fenrir, an enormous canine-like creature, roars and attacks the party. During the fight, several icicles will fall from the ceiling onto the party, and although not caused by Fenrir itself, the creature uses its ability in turn to cause a storm to rush through the area, damaging the party. When injured, the icicles descend again, however this time Fenrir prepares its Lunar Cry, a much more deadly ability to anyone caught by it. It can be avoided, however, by using one of the remaining icicles in the arena as cover for the blast. Upon defeat, the creature roars and falls to the floor. After this, Iceheart herself appears from behind us, and explains that her cause is to bring an end to the everlasting war between man and dragon, no matter the cost. She tells us that what she and her cohorts do, they do for the greater good of the world. Iceheart approaches the Aetheryte towards the back of the area, and is transported elsewhere. And that's the end of the story and lore of Snowcloak. A band of traitors looking to overthrow the rule of the Temple Knights, even turning to the very dragons whom they wish to eventually defeat. And with Shiva looming on the horizon, even the Scions appear beset at all sides by new threats. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Final Fantasy XIV lore, and I'll see you next time for the hard mode version of Sestasha.